Hey guys, welcome back. This is now part 3 of the tutorial video on testing Fint, testing gRPC services using Fint. And here you're looking at the root guide client that I've created in the previous video. And if you're not familiar yet on how to create these clients, have a look at videos 1 and 2. I walk through in detail on how to create this gRPC client. Right, and for this video, we're going to look at the client streaming methods, how to test that using Fint. And okay, so let's get started and let me open this root guide client. So you can see here, now that it's open, you can see here on the left panel, you have the root guide client and the methods below it. So we have get feature async, list features, record root, and root chat. So part 1 and part 2 of the videos, we looked at get feature, list features. This is the server streaming method, as you can see here as a server stream panel. We look at that on the part 2. And now in this part 3 video, we'll look at the record root, which is the client streaming method. And as you can see, there's a client stream panel right here, this bottom right below the request panel. So before we test this record root method, let's have a look at what it does. Let's look at the C# code for it, and then so that we'll know when we test it, we know whether it's behaving correctly or not. So switching over to Visual Studio, here we see that I have the methods for root guide. I have the project for root guide. So I have root guide client, and root guide server. And let's look at the protobuf file for this. And I had that over here. So we have the root guide service, and now we're looking at the method for record root. So here on the comment, you can see that this is a client to server streaming RPC method. So what that means is that the client is going to stream requests to the server. And as you can see here, the recorded method accepts a stream of points. So that would mean the client is going to send a stream of points. And once the client is done sending the stream of points, the method will return a root summary. So an instance of this root summary class. Let's have a look at the actual implementation of this method. And that would be on here in the root guide impl. And we can see this is the record root method. And we know that it accepts a stream of points, so this is how it's implemented. This is a request stream. And then inside this record root method, what it does is it goes into this while loop and sits here and waits for the client to write something to the request stream. So in this case, it's going to be a point. So it will sit here in this await call, and then once it receives a point from the stream, then it checks whether is it one of the points that you have in the existing database, and then if it is, then it adds to the feature count. If it's not, if it's the second call, then it will calculate the distance between the points. So on the first call, the previous is going to be null, and we just remember that point. And then on the second call, then it will calculate the distance between the points. And then if you do a third call, then it will calculate the distance between the current point and then the previous point. And finally, then it just goes here, it just stays inside this while loop until the client is done writing to the request stream. And once that is done, then it will finally return a root summary, which will tell us how many points we've sent and how many features is that, and then what is the distance between those points. All right, so now that we know how it works, let's try that out in Fint. So again, I have record root selected over here. But first, it wouldn't work if it's not running, so I need to start that server. So right click, debug, start new instance. And let's wait for it to start up. Okay, so now it's up on port 5052. Let me go back to Fint. And now I have record root over here. So I have a request panel and I have my client stream panel. So before I can start writing to the client stream, first I need to trigger that with a request. So I need to send this request first. So let's click on send request. So that works fine. And then let's see. You can see here on the server it says record route was called. And now I have my client stream where I can send now the stream of points. So let's send about 3 points. Let's use the existing points in their database. Let's randomly just choose a point. So let me get this one. This is the latitude. Paste that. Now I'll set the longitude. Right, now I have a point. Now I can send it. So this will write to the request stream, and this will finish writing. But now it's disabled because we haven't written anything to the stream. So first, let's send this first point. Right, so it says call to write is okay, and it took about half a millisecond. And also on my server, we logged that console that we sent that point, which is this, that, and the longitude is there, the selected one. So that's exactly what we sent. And let's also send the second point now. Let's look at here. Let's just randomly another point. And select the longitude for that. And let's write it to the stream, to the request stream. Okay, call to write is okay. And here, if you switch to the sent tab, now we see that we have actually sent 2 points now. And if you can see here, if you select one of these requests, the buttons here will enable, so you can actually resend again these points. You can write that again. So, but I want to try with a different point, so let's go select another point here. Maybe this one. Go back to the client stream. Enter the longitude value. Okay, so now this is our third point. Let's write it to the request stream. Okay, so on my send tab now has three requests. And finally, let's say we're done. So let's click on the finish writing to the request stream button, this cloud with a green check mark. Right, and now finally we have the response from the root summary, which is the response. We sent it 3 points. So 3 points from the database. We have 3 features. We have 3 points over here. And the total distance calculated is this value over here. Yep, so that's how testing client streaming methods work in Fint. It's actually pretty simple. You just need to just need to initialize the requests, send the initial request, and then click on writing to the client stream. And then once you're done writing to the client stream, just click on the button finish writing, and then you'll get back the final response from the server, which is over here. Okay, thanks guys, and on the next video, we'll look at the duplex streaming method, which is this root chat method over here. Thanks, so see you on the next video.